there's a lot of eyes on us building this company from scratch, and it could totally not work.
You have such an opposite skill set of me, and I've always wanted someone that feels like a sparring partner, that we can like get through the challenges together as well, because it feels so much easier when you do have that other person.
Today, I'm joined by Laurie Harder. She is a serial entrepreneur, a best-selling author, a top podcast host, and an investor. And she is actually my co-founder in a company called Gloci. When Laurie initially came to me with this idea, I knew I wanted to get involved. There is such a huge gap in the market for a product like this, and I'm so excited to tell you a little bit more about this journey.
The main things that they wanted were, they wanted to feel lighter. They wanted to have beautiful skin. It was all like feel better, look better, lighter, less bloating. It's like my biggest, deepest desire in life is to do things with other women that also show other women what's possible.
Laurie, I am so excited that we're doing this.
I am more excited that we're doing this. We both have such different kind of stories and perspectives about how we came together to have you as a co-founder of Gloci, which, if you guys don't know, if you haven't heard, Gloci is a daily beauty supplement. It's a skin routine that you can drink. And I know from my perspective, I wasn't actually expecting it at all.
Okay, tell me. I want to know all of it from your perspective.
And it's been one of the most exciting things maybe ever that
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm just really, really thrilled about it. So let's rewind back to the very beginning when you were some of the first women that I went to with Boss Babe to see if you were interested in investing in light pink. And I remember that I had written your name down on a piece of paper in a book. I still have to go. I'll go and get it so you can see it, which is so crazy. So I manifested you a long time ago. You're going to be in this. You're going to be a part of this, whether you liked it or not. And you were like one of the first women that I was going to go to ask to be a part of it, because I loved what you were doing with your community and Boss Babe. And you know that everything that I've done is really community based. So for me, you have always been a part of it in some form. So with light pink, you know that I went to you and said, hey, are you interested in investing? And come to find out you were excited about it, which I didn't know. It's funny because from my end, I was like nervous to approach you guys. And I think I remember you saying like, oh my God, what were you saying about that?
I was just so excited. Yeah. I mean, I like heard you were doing something and you were coming in for a meeting, and I was just so excited that I might be able to get to invest in it. Like, I just knew whatever you would be doing would be amazing. Like, I didn't even need to know about the product. But light pink, for anyone that doesn't know, this was before you had the idea of Gloci. Light pink was going to be a sparkling wine in a can, and it was going to be all around connection. And I mean, if anyone wants to know the full story of that, they can. I'll link the other episode in the show notes. So then I'm curious from your perspective as well, me coming in this respect, and I'll get into my story soon. But like, did it just come out of the blue for you?
Yes. So when, we pivoted to Gloci, so what ended up happening is during the pandemic, we pivoted from the light wine seltzer into this daily beauty supplement, which for me, I have been in the supplement industry for years. I've been in the health and wellness industry. It's actually where my entire career started. So when we pivoted to this, it felt like a really natural pivot for me. In fact, it felt like it was an extension of who I was. It felt so much more aligned even than the other idea, even though that felt good at the time. Things can really change. We can talk about the story another time. But what ended up happening is I was coming to a place with Gloci where we had been, after raising money initially and going through the pandemic and being about 3 years later into this other pivot, I'd gotten to a place where I'm like, I really want to make a splash with this company. So I think that I want to raise more money. And so this is literally the question that is on my head the day before I get a voice note from you. And I had gotten it. So I had gotten it that night. And then the next day I had a call, and I hadn't listened to it yet. And the next day I had a call with my CFO team. And I'm just going kind of back and forth with like, what do I want to do? Like, what does this look like? Do I want to raise more money? Like, what is the next step? What is the direction that we want? How do we want to get this company out in the world? And so I'm like, oh, there was a voice note from Natalie. I'm just going to go listen to it now after my little CFO meeting. And I listen, and you're like, hey, so, I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't know where you're at with this, but if there's any way to be like a bigger part of gloci, I'd really like to do that, because if I was going to create a company, this would be the company that I was going to create. Now, rewind, like I get this voice note and I'm just sitting there going, I haven't thought of this. And at the same time, it was like, wow, that would be so exciting for the company. I feel like you have such an opposite skill set of me. And I've always wanted someone that feels like a sparring partner, that I can bounce ideas off of, that I can voice note and get super excited about things, that I can share tough things with, that we can like get through the challenges together as well, because it feels so much easier when you do have that other person. And so I think it just opened up this whole world to me of, wait, this is kind of what gloci has always been about, is collaboration and community and getting women together and showing them what's possible. And I just thought, oh my God, the things that we could do together. And that's really what opened up for me. And it felt so aligned and so good and so effortless, very unlike other, just different experiences that I had had before that. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to follow my gut on this one.
I love hearing it from your perspective too. So from mine, so I mean, way back when I started as an entrepreneur, my first ever company was called Oh My Glow, and it was a powdered beauty supplement.
Which is so crazy. When you told me that, I was like, you're not serious.
Yeah. So that's how I started in entrepreneurship. That was my first ever business. And it really came about because I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur and I was so passionate about health. It wasn't necessarily skincare. For me, it was hormone health. It was overall health. It was just how can I take care of my body from within. And I got so interested in superfoods and ingredients, and I went down this whole rabbit hole, and I'm like, that's my path. So I got into that. I started this company called Oh My Glow. It took me an entire year to get this thing off the ground. I mean, I'm literally mixing formulations in my kitchen, and that whole time I'm building on social media because I've put every penny I have into this business, which was not many pennies, and I'm just waiting on getting this supplement back. Launched it, and it was a huge success externally, but I could not figure out this cash flow thing. I knew if I wanted to make it like a real quote unquote business and take it to like the seven-figure mark, I would need investment, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't know what I was doing, and I knew that wasn't a power position to be like bringing in people that would be telling me what to do. I was like, I need to find my feet in business. And when I married Steven, I married him when I was on my student visa, and I didn't know that was like a big no-no, and I actually got told I couldn't work at all. So I had to put this company on hold. It was basically either stay in the US and wait for your green card, or go back to the UK and run this company.
Oh my God.
And I knew it wasn't, I wanted to be in the US more than I wanted to keep running that company because it was so challenging. Like I hadn't figured it out. And like, again, on the outside, it was so successful, but inside I was like, there's something not connecting for me. So anyway, that was, gosh,
people don't know this about you.
No, I know. So that was 12 years ago that I started that business. And then obviously I was an investor in Light Pink, but I didn't know that you were developing gloci in the background. I didn't know.
I was doing this all undercover, had no idea that you had Oh My Glow. That's so weird that it's even like, it was like, okay, you're going to have this, a version of this in the US. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay. And it's funny because then you came to Austin and we podcasted together. We went out to Net and you were telling me all about gloci. And that's when I said, Laurie, did you know I had, and you didn't know. And so I already was starting to get like really excited just about the fact I was an investor in this. I'm like, oh my goodness, this product, one, is freaking amazing. Two, feels like an extension of me. This is the easiest thing I can promote. I'm so glad I invested. Like, I remember thinking that.
Makes me want to cry.
Yeah, I just remember sitting there, you opposite me, just being like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad I'm part of this. And then fast forward, 6 months?
It's making me cry. It really is. I'm just like so excited.
Yeah. And 6 months later, I got approached by another company, this founder who is wildly successful, had a multiple 9-figure exit and wanted to bring me on as the face of another brand. And I went all the way down that path with them, and something wasn't right. And I knew in my heart I was ready to have a supplement company. I truly care about helping people get healthier. Like, it's the thing that lights me on fire. I love helping women get businesses off the ground. I love helping them feel like their best selves. And I just knew I feel like it's in my blood, in my DNA. And I went all the way down this path, and what they wanted to build didn't feel like the way I feel about gloci. I was like, it's just not that. And I remember telling them, I just don't think this is for me. And, you know, I knew how big it could be, all that stuff. It didn't feel like it was for me. And I was sitting on the chair in my office, and in my head, I was like, well, you know, you don't necessarily need to go with these guys that have had this big exit if you want to have this business. Like, have some confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, well, what would you do? And instantly I was like, I would do gloci. Like, that's the business that I would. The product is amazing. I've been obsessed with the product since the minute I heard about it, never mind tried it. Everything about it feels like me. And I just thought, and I talked myself out of it so many times. Like, Laurie, I was sitting on that chair and I'm like writing it out. I'm like, well, I would start this. And I'm like, so basically I would just start gloci, and I'm already invested in it. So, and then I kept talking myself out of voice note. Like, I wanted to voice note you and say, like, can I invest more? Like, that's what I thought the conversation would be like. Can I invest more and like come more on board? I really want to be part of it. But I kept talking myself out of it. And then at one point I was like, you know what, Natalie, just shoot your shot. The worst thing Laurie will say is, we don't need any money right now, we're good. And like, can you handle that? I'm like, yes, I can handle that. So I remember voice noting, just being like, Laurie, I am so obsessed with this product and what you're doing, and I want to help get this out there. Like, I really believe in it. And I remember just saying, if there's any way I could be more involved, then I'm interested. And then we started talking about it, and it was maybe I would put some more investment in. And you know, I was already an ambassador. I was like sharing it from the minute you said I could share it. I was already in, and I just was like, yeah, this would be great. And then as we started going down the road, we started exploring what would it look like to be more involved, which, by the way, when I voice noted you, I didn't even think that was an option. Like, I was just seeing, like, I'm like, she's crushing it. She's not going to need a co-founder, but maybe like there's another way. So it's just amazing that it like all lined up like this.
Yeah, I think when you had sent the voice note, because I didn't know what you were specifically asking either.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm gonna, like, what would I love from this as well? And so I think just thinking of what this company is, and you know what's crazy, as you're talking, like, I'm just piecing even more together. We had talked about this. The reason that you love the product so much is, like, literally we formulated this for you, with you in mind as well. In your community, my community, I formulated it for me. I thought of every woman in my life that I was like, I want something for her that she feels like this is a little moment for her, that's a ritual, that's, you know, I was looking at all the other products that I was using for like hydration, and they either looked really sciencey, and they were sciencey, or they were super like athletic based, or really, really salty. And I remember like just like standing in front of like my hydration sticks being like, do more. Like, why don't you do more? You're so expensive. You should do more. Truly, like, I was thinking of all these funny reels. Like, it's just a girl standing in front of a hydration stick asking it to be more. Like, I was like, why doesn't this do anything that women want it to do? And so I actually went to you before gloci even existed.
Wait, I forgot about
I'm
this.
like, do you remember this?
I remember now.
And I was like, can we put in your group, in Boss Babe, can we take surveys from all of your women? And so I actually surveyed literally your community. I have chills. Yes. Surveyed your community, and it came back. The main things that they wanted were, they wanted to feel lighter. They wanted to have beautiful skin. Like, it was all like, feel better, look better, lighter, less bloating. And so I had to break down what that meant, because I'm like, feel lighter. What does that mean? Lighter is like, you know, when we would ask deeper questions, it was, they felt like they weren't digesting their food.
You know what it means? You know, when you've had your morning poop and you feel like you could fly.
Well, let me tell you, you're gonna do just fine with this. So you're going to feel really right. That's actually the side effect that we're hearing all the time, is people are like, I'm so regular. I take this traveling all the time. I sleep so good.
No, but for real.
Yeah, that's why we did it. Literally, look at how we made it pretty, though. We didn't make it like Metamucil. It's like, here.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we did survey.
My brain was just like, oh my God, completely. So we made this literally with you in mind, with all of the women who are listening right now. Like, we created this product specifically from all of those surveys.
God makes no mistakes.
No.
Doesn't that always give you chills when you look back on the journey and you're like, wait, this was always there right in front of me. I just never saw it. And I also think that's so beautiful, because I think both of us went into this relationship too with no expectations. But also, what I will say, I think, and we can do another episode on this too, I think we went into this relationship really eyes wide open, because we've both been in business now quite a long time, and we both know what we want out of our lives, out of our businesses. And I love how you came into this conversation really knowing the value of what you've built. And I came into this conversation like really no attachment to like, I'm so happy where I am right now. And like, I love this product and I'm going to promote it whether I'm more invested in it or not. And I think that's how it's been so amazing to see it unfold so naturally like that.
You know what else was really exciting that I think is a really important thing for people to hear is that when we came into this partnership, like we've had really open, amazing conversations that have actually made me feel immediately closer to you and also know like how you need to be spoken to, like where maybe, you know, some of the questions that we had asked each other for people who are thinking of partnerships as well is it was like, where do I feel like I'm going to fail you? Like if we actually had to sit down and say, here's what I'm afraid you're going to find out about me. And it's going to like, you know, I feel like if I was going to fail you anywhere, it would be here. And having those really honest conversations, honestly, I feel like we're not going to surprise each other.
Yeah. And also just, we had some other conversations about like, okay, what my biggest wound that I have in this would be this. And here's what would feel really upsetting to me. And like just putting all cards on the table has been really, just that in itself, it's been really powerful.
I think we've had just such amazing, number one, our personal experiences just from the past of collaborating with different people. And then also I know that you're a person who also asks mentors all the time before you get into things. I think that is going to be one of our greatest strengths as we go and innovate and create and expand this, is that we were literally at lunch before this and I was like, okay, so if we want to do this, we're going to go talk to these people first and we're going to get advice from this person. How can we get advice from this person who's already done this huge thing that we want to do? And I feel like both of us together, that's going to be such a strength.
Oh, I just feel so excited. And the product's so good. I literally, as we spent the whole day together, which has been fun. And as I was getting out of the car, I was like, Laurie, I'm so excited for my lifetime supply of gloci. Like,
seriously.
I'm so obsessed with the product. I want to talk about it and like really get into ingredients and talk about why these ingredients matter, why these ones have been chosen and what they all do. Because one thing that you've always talked about from the beginning with gloci is you wanted any ingredient in there to matter and to be in the amounts that actually makes a difference. I'm the biggest supplement nerd. I look at everything and I always look at the values. I'm like, something can have 1,000,001 ingredients in it. I got really good at this when I was looking for prenatals when I was pregnant, because I was hearing there was all of these prenatals with so many ingredients, but because there was so many, there was a low amount of each and you actually weren't getting everything you probably should have been. So I was like this super nerd, like comparing all of them, looking for what I should be having. And that's something you've talked about when you were bring this together, was actually you'd rather use fewer ingredients and use them at a potency that actually makes a difference than just whack all these ingredients on to be able to say, here's what we do. And so that always part of the process from the beginning?
Yes. So Chris and I had a network marketing background, and also I was in health and wellness for years. Like my career started in health and fitness. And so when I was thinking of creating a product, we called them sticky products, which means a sticky product is something that makes you feel something. Like you want to go back to it. And it's something that you're not only attached to like the brand and all the things, but like you actually feel better. And so a lot of these other companies, like you don't necessarily feel or see anything, but yeah, I still love certain brands, even though I'm like not sure if they're working, but I wanted people to be like, have a tangible experience with the brand. So when I went into formulation, that was like the top of the conversation is, okay, if I'm going to choose ingredients, they need to either feel something like this. I was literally picturing what the reviews were going to be. So I'm a huge visualization manifester, like massive. If I'm like, before this even existed, it was like, what do I want these reviews to say about this product? So when I went in with the formulation team, they're incredible. They've formulated other freaking amazing products.
So like world class.
Yes. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in really good hands. They've formulated for these other incredible companies. And so when I was asking these questions, they were like, hey, what do you want this to look like? And they were saying, you can have all of these different ingredients. Like this could be a really great ingredient. You could have like just giving these lists that would give me some of these results. But they're like, in the supplement world, sometimes when you get like all of these ingredients, they call it a fairy dusting. So it's just like a little dash of an ingredient where you can mark it with it, but it's not necessarily doing anything in your body.
That drives me nuts, because the amount we spend on supplements to know that actually you're not getting the right amount, and you're ingesting it thinking it's going to do something, it drives me insane, because not everyone knows what to look for. Or, you know, they're spending so much money on it and they're kind of being duped into these products that really aren't making that much of a difference. It drives me nuts, because I know so many people that are like, I don't really know what I'm looking for.
Yeah. And sometimes you go into it and you're like, well, if it does everything, and something else is like, sometimes if something does everything, it might be doing nothing. So even when we were talking about marketing, it's like that can actually be confusing to the market if you try to be everything. So when we took that feedback from all the different groups, yours being a main one that we got most of the data back from, we're like, okay, we want to be skin and gut. Like, we want to focus on skin and gut. And one of the cool things is when you focus on the gut, you focus on the skin. So we didn't have to be like, okay, what are all the skin ingredients? Because believe it or not, a lot of the ingredients that are like great for your gut are so good for your skin as well. And we'll kind of talk about that. So when we were formulating, I was like, I want an amazing probiotic. I need to know that it works. How do I know it works? Okay, well, this one that we chose has 30 clinical studies. They actually have even more now. And the clinical studies are showing, like, here's the data of that, you know, this product actually works. So the one that we chose is all about, it is like immune function, digestion, nutrient absorption, body composition. So they're, the studies were like lining up exactly with what we're looking for people to feel lighter, for people to feel better, and also like amazing side effects of repairing faster from workouts, different things like that. So the studies on the site of that, it's actually DE111, which is an incredible probiotic. You can go and read more about it. It's amazing. But what I love about that particular company ingredient is they're investing so much into their studies. And so I feel like when you have that data, knowing that, like, hey, this ingredient actually works, and here's the amount that you're going to use in order to start seeing, like, in order to get some of this data. So that's why we chose the probiotic. And then we have hyaluronic acid in there, which most people are applying hyaluronic acid topically, which is good. But hyaluronic acid, your body produces it naturally. So ingestible, they're starting to study it, but we'll get lots of fun stuff on there. But ingestible is truly, I think ingestible is where it's at to get the results that you want for that.
Yeah, and two things. So the first thing, I'm so glad we're doing that with this probiotic, because so many probiotics, by the time they actually even reach your gut, there's none left of them.
Yeah, totally.
And so they actually aren't doing that much for you. I've went through such a journey on that, looking into probiotics and interviewing a lot of people in this space, and they would talk about how by the time it actually hits your gut, there's really not much left of it.
Totally. And
so I love that. And with hyaluronic acid, for anyone listening who's like, what does that do? That is the thing you really want to apply if you want all this moisture in your skin. Like I have a really great serum that if my skin's ever feeling super dry, I put this on. But you're right, topical is only going to do so much. And I noticed the biggest, for me, the reason that I got into my glow in the first place was I had such bad hormonal acne. I mean, I still have scarring from hormonal acne, and I had PCOS, and I kept going all throughout my 20s. I was uncovering all the layers of where that come from, and I spent so much money on topical products, and I could never get it to clear my skin. And the only way I could clear my skin was from within. It was the only thing that worked. And I had such bad hormonal acne. I finally got it under control for a couple of years, got my hormones fully under control, healed my gut, all of it. And I was so nervous getting pregnant was going to flare me up again. And it didn't. And I haven't had a flare up. And I mean, we're talking like 4 years. I could never go like a week without a flare up. So to go on this long, it's all the stuff that I put in my body. Like I have the most basic skincare ever. I use like beef tallow.
Yeah, which actually I'm like, that's coming in hot, because it's so good for your skin that so many of these products now are going back to
the basics. And I spend so much money on what I put in my body that what I put on my skin feels like I can really strip it back to basics, because everything's coming from within. Which I think is a big metaphor for just generally like I was just chatting to one of my friends yesterday, and she was talking about just not feeling herself, and she had this vice she was leaning to, and I had to remind her, I was like, that vice is like drinking an energy drink versus filling yourself up with cellular energy, life force energy.
Totally.
It's so different, and honestly, that's how I compare all of this stuff. You can put all of the band-aids on, or you can actually work from within and heal, and give your body what it needs. Because our diets, it's just really, really hard to get what we need out of our diets these days.
It is. And, you know, whenever I think about like, if you're not feeling good, and coming from the fitness world and health and fitness world, it was very much like, okay, these challenges that we would do that were 7 days or 14 days, all we were doing was just cleaning up what they were putting in their body for 7 days. And people were like, you know, they're working out. Yeah. But it was like, my best challenges were 20-minute workouts, maybe even 3 or 4 times a week. And all of it was about what they were putting in their body, where they would just get like these mind-blowing results of, I feel so much better. Oh my God, I don't feel as depressed. I don't feel my anxiety. I'm like, because what we put in matters, and especially when it comes to your skin. So I know if you've like gone on vacation, maybe you haven't treated yourself very nice. Like it's like you're eating crap or you're drinking or whatever. It's, by the time that week is up, you're just like, oh my God.
A week? Oh my God, I swear, if I eat something shitty the night before, I wake up.
Totally.
And you can see that on my face.
And that's what, so that is, oh, for sure. Like, what did you eat last night? Like, I'm just puffy and like, yeah, you
like,
can see what I did.
You look like a fish, a puff of fish. You had sushi last night. Like,
yes.
I don't know what, that didn't happen to me in my early 20s, but we're not there anymore.
Totally. And that is so much about what this company is about, is it's a reminder, like, to take the time to pour into yourself. It's like not, this is such a, I want this to be the domino of the first thing that people do for the day. That's like, hey, take a moment to pour into yourself. Like, if you do one thing good for yourself a day, do this. And what happens is we, you know, when we do something for ourselves that's easy early on, that we're choosing, that we know is good for us, it truly unconsciously tells yourself, like, you are worth taking care of. And I think that ripples throughout my whole day. And you and I know this better than anyone else if you're in the personal development world or business world as well. It's like habits, small habits add up. And it starts with small habits. When I get like off course, when I'm just like overwhelmed, I literally hear myself talking to myself. I'll talk to myself out loud and be like, Lori, just go drink your water. Like, just go start there. Reset, go start there. Get up from your computer. Like, we know that it's not going to be some crazy fad diet. We know it's not going to be some crazy juice cleanse that's going to make you feel better right now. That's probably just going to, you know, make you go from one extreme to the next. It's always like, take one good step right now and just do one good thing for yourself.
Oh, I love this so much. And I'm so into biohacking and like all the devices, all the things, but I know if I'm not doing the basics, none of that matters. It just doesn't make a difference if you're not doing the basics. Like you say, if you're not drinking your water, if you're not getting outside, if you're not walking barefoot, if you're not actually dropping in and connecting with people you love, like there's so many boxes that you get to tick that actually make the big difference. It's like simple things. Have you taken your supplements today? And like I have like a desk pad, and I write every week. I write down five habits that I want to do every single day, and it's just simple things. I know if I tick those boxes at the end of the week, I feel like a different person to the weeks that I don't.
It's the small things.
It always is.
It's just the small things like that add up that make you feel amazing. And everybody thinks it's going to be a really big fix, and I'm like, no, we just need you to drink some flavored water right now.
Yeah. Okay. So question, how do you take yours? Because I'm so specific with how I take any, like I just love to layer all my habits. How do you take your gloci?
Okay, I'm totally different than you.
Okay, great. That's why we're working together.
I'm going to take it like at least 1 to 3 times a day. But so yesterday I made a vanilla shake with gloci in it. So it was a lemon meringue pie shake.
Wait, stop. What did you put in that?
It was just a vanilla whey. Like I still like whey. I know some people. I did vegan with this once, and I didn't love it as much.
I'm a dairy girl.
Yeah, it was a vanilla whey with just gloci. So it tasted like lemon meringue. It was freaking amazing. But then I have one in the morning, and then I typically have one in the afternoon. So
yeah, I'm a two. Okay, so my mornings, I do gloci, but I always do it in warm water. Which, fun fact, like I know when you're doing powdered supplements, it always seems to dissolve better in warm water too.
And because I was a crazy stickler about the ingredients and not having chemical chemicals in there, which it's funny because a lot of people are like, hey, you have to shake this extra. I'm like, when it's good, you have to shake it extra.
Yeah, you want
because
that.
exactly, you actually want to look for that, because if it blends really, really well, it probably means that there's chemicals in there that are making it do that. So that was a tough decision for me. I'm not going to lie.
Wait, tell me more about this, because I know I would have been so strong on that same, we're not using this. So tell me how that decision was made for you.
I was thinking of all of the people that were going to be using this, and I knew that it would be the same questions that I had. It was like, what are these ingredients that I don't know what they are that are on this label right now? And so the deeper that I started asking, the more it was like, well, you really do want that because it's anti-caking, and you don't want your product to clump. And I'm like, there has to be something different that we can put in. So I drove my formulator a little bit crazy, but he found something, which is rice hulls to make it not cake. And we might have a little bit less shelf life because of it, but it's still, we still have amazing shelf life. But I just knew that we're going to be putting this in our body every single day, and it's for our skin and our gut. So if we're putting in things that actually can irritate your skin and your gut, then why are we doing this product at all? And so that was huge for me. If women are going to be ingesting this, essentially it's becoming who they are. There's like cellularly, it's becoming who they are. I'm like, I don't want chemicals in this product that are going to be negative for people, for skin and gut. So we had a lot of workarounds. There were certain things that I was like, I had to figure out, was I okay with a little bit of clumping, or being really clear on the messaging saying, hey guys, just shake it extra, because if you see, some extra fiber in there or whatever it is, like, just know that that isn't what a natural product looks like. So I think that there's some education that goes with doing a better product, because we're so used to our products going on your skin super smoothly, like dissolving in your water really quickly. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good product. It could actually mean that there's a lot of chemicals in your product.
I'm exactly the same. Like, even with skincare, I use it's tallow. Like, when I get it out of the tub, it's so hot, I have to rub it in my hands to actually make it dissolve. Like,
totally.
It's not such a good thing if everything's perfectly dissolvable. So anyway, I'm so specific. So I have mine in warm water in the morning, and I always put a hydrogen tablet in there, just all that extra cellular hydration. I love it. And then in the afternoon, I always have it in cold water, but I put liquid B vitamins in as well. I know some people tolerate those a little bit less. I love it, and I love putting it in. Just gives me extra energy. So I have my glossy rituals, and I know it's like time in the day that I make time for myself as well. Like a morning, I don't go without it, and digestion, all of it. We won't go into details, but it just makes a big difference for me. And then in the afternoon, I always know, like, I'm normally in meetings early afternoon, I always feel so much better. I sit there, I normally have a matcha, I have my glossy, and I just feel like I'm taking care of myself, like I'm doing something for me, as well as like pouring into my businesses or whatever I'm doing at the time. So I'm such a big fan of all of that. Okay, a couple of other things. I want to go into a few more of the ingredients, because we've only talked about a couple. Can we talk about prickly pear and coconut water, and why I'm so much happier that we're using coconut water than expensive salt or lots of sugar?
So coconut water has a lot of trace minerals in it, and it's also known for electrolytes. And so instead of, what I was noticing is I was using these hydration packets. I was using them like 2 or 3 times a day. I'm like, I actually think that I'm getting bloated from the thing that is supposed to make me not bloated. Like, being hydrated actually makes you less bloated, unless you're hydrating with a crap ton of salt or sugar, in which I was. And I also, a big part of that was just like, I was doing it because it was making me drink more water because it was flavored, and I'm a little bit like a toddler, but I think a lot of us are. We're like, we want like something flavored to look forward to. And like, we sit on our computers a lot. We're doing a lot of work, and I think that it's a moment to like break up the day and look forward to something. Yes, I know flavored water, we never thought that would be something we look forward to as adults, but we do now.
Are you that person though, like 10 beverages on the go at one time?
Always. That's why I'm like, I absolutely should be in this company, because I'm just, give me more beverages. So I wanted to do something that was like, had the same idea, but done in a more natural way that maybe would not make us feel as bloated. So there is some sea salt in here, but it doesn't have the same amount. It's like a very small amount. So that's why we chose coconut water. And then prickly pear was actually, it's funny because prickly pear came into the picture because I was thinking of doing an upsell to Light Pink, which was the light wine company. And prickly pear was in all of these hangover it was in all of these like hangover tablets that you could take. And I'm like, I want to learn more about prickly pear. But prickly pear is actually an ingredient that's been around for thousands of years. It's called Nepal cactus is like its official name. And prickly pear it has so many different incredible things about it, but one of them is it has like prebiotic characteristics in it as well, which was another great thing for gut. And there's a lot of different info on it for your skin and just the fiber that's in it. And also apparently it's supposed to be good for hangovers, which I'm like, hey, hydration. If someone's using this as well, this is really awesome. So prickly pear it's also associated with helping bloating.
I'm obsessed. I literally every time I was looking at this, I'm like, this is the product I would formulate. This is the product I would make. Okay, so one thing you mentioned was reviews and having those on your vision board and those. How have you felt seeing the reviews come in, and what are like some of the favorite things that women have been saying? And I'm saying women. I know it's women and men, but mainly women.
Okay, so the men part is funny because it's the men already stealing it from the women, and they're sending stories about it right now. They're like, no, really, I'm getting really angry with this is causing a problem with me and my husband because he's taking out of my monthly pack right now. So
he needs his own subscription.
Yeah, you need to go get your own subscription. You're gonna love it. Gloci guys and gloci girls. Okay. The reviews for me are like the most exciting part. I literally read them this morning again. I go on every single day. It's a crazy obsession. Just wait, you'll get the obsession as well.
I already got the obsession.
Oh, you're already looking at it. I think a big one is like, oh my God, I'm only 2 weeks in. I already feel like my skin is glowing. I'm already getting compliments. I'm sleeping better. I feel like my tummy's so much flatter. I feel like I'm not bloated. I feel like I'm more clear. I'm actually surprised at some of the reviews that are coming in as quickly as they're coming in. So that was a huge one for me, is to get reviews 2 weeks in that are saying how much of an impact that this product is already having in their bodies and that they're seeing it on their skin. So we do a little glow factor bar to see how much the glow factor is. And glow factor is always over 80%, which is exciting.
It's so exciting. I'm so excited. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what we've got coming up. So we were just strategizing and visioning on the amazing people we want to see talking about gloci and having it as part of their routines, and we were setting milestones on how many subscribers we want to have. And we were just talking about it at lunch, but it feels so exciting to be in the beginning stages of a business again. Doesn't that feel really, I mean, it's
the most fun.
Yeah.
It's like the part where, and this is the part that I really want people to hear, is there's so many challenging things about the beginning part, and there's so many challenging things about the middle, but it's also the best part. It's the part where you don't know if you're going to make it or not. It's the part where nobody has a big say on what you're doing. You really get to get the data from your customer. You get to be super innovative. You're not attached to anything yet. It's so fresh and new, and it can be anything that you want it to be. And let yourself get your hopes up. Let yourself really get into that place and try to stay in that place as long as possible, because I feel like that is the energy that's creative, that's exciting. That's the magnetic energy that draws people to you. How excited we both are, we need to always remind each other to be this excited and how lucky we are. And every day in my gratitudes, Chris and I we do something called the Power 9, which is
tell us about this.
So the Power 9 is 3 gratitudes. And then it's 3 excited abouts, and it's 3 grateful fors. And I am not only excited but grateful for every single day that I have a company that feels like a creative outlet that I get to build no matter what state it's in. And so I never want to forget to be so grateful for that. And also, you've been in them so much lately, because I'm so excited now that I have a sparring partner to voice note. I literally was like, how do you feel about voice notes? I'll keep them fast, but I'm going to be like, I'm so excited about this. What do you think of this? I can't wait for that, when it's just Yes, when we send ideas back and forth, like, look at what this company's doing. Oh my God, I love this. Like, what would our version be? And that is the fun part of this. I don't want to lose that.
I love what you said about let yourself get your hopes up.
Mm-hmm.
One thing Brendan Burchard says a lot is a lot of people don't have a fear to start or a fear to be seen. They have a fear of being seen starting small. And it reminds me of, like, I definitely have felt those fears, like, oh my goodness, like, I definitely feel like there's a lot of eyes on us building this company from scratch, and it could totally not work. Which, by the way, I'm praying it does, but it could totally not work. And really getting over that fear has also been a thing of, like, it's really nice to be in that place, and I want anyone hearing this to be okay being seen starting small, to be okay talking about your business, even if you're in the teeny tiny stages, and like every new subscription is like, oh my goodness, do you know this person? No, I don't know this person. This is a stranger buying our product. Like,
a stranger bought it. They don't even know who we are.
Yeah, it doesn't get old. And I think it's so exciting to, if you're in those early stages of your business, don't let that get old. Like, don't wish yourself to be so far ahead that you miss out on the preciousness of those moments. And also another thing that I want people to take away from this is, like, shoot your shot. Like, I didn't know what was going to come of this. I really didn't. And I was putting, I think it was really nice to be able to put it out there with no attachment. Like, I was not attached to any way that this could go. And I knew that I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't put it out there, that I wanted to be more involved in any capacity. And so for anyone listening, if you are sitting on something where, like, you want to say something, but you're nervous, you know, what might people think? What if I get rejected? To just put yourself out there. You never know where it might go.
You know, it was so exciting because I hadn't even thought of a partner at this particular point. And I like just had a moment where I remembered this whole thing started because all I want to do is collaborate with women. It's like my biggest, deepest desire in life is to do things with other women that also show other women what's possible. And I already have heard people just say, like, right down to, you know, bringing all of the 54 female investors in, like, you can't imagine what that did for me. Like, I didn't think that I had the skill set for that, but watching you do that with no background, like, that just made it feel very possible because you told us how you did it, that you got this person to help you and you learned how to do X, Y, and Z. And, you know, I think for us also coming from the space that we're in, a lot of our friends don't have products. Like, it's not a normal thing in the space. And I think it's like being aware of what you and I can do together for other women who, you know, in your community as well, in my community, to go, hey, what you thought was possible for you has now expanded because now you have somewhere to look, whether this wins or fails. Like, you now have somewhere to look where that you can say, hey, well, they tried it. And even if it fails, which it's not going to, by the way, because I just know. But even if it does, because that's what you have to do, and you have to say these things to yourself. Like, you have to be okay no matter what happens. But even if it does, it shows people, like, hey, you know, like, even with Light Pink, like, hey, she failed, she pivoted. Like, it wasn't a failure. It was a pivot, or it was a learning lesson, or whatever that looked like. And she's still
standing.
Right.
She's still alive.
And honestly, I feel like I'm more confident, more like powerful, more just, I love who I am more than ever from that, from the hardest thing that has ever happened to me, like in business, hands down.
I love that so much. And, you know, I just had the biggest chills when you were speaking. I just had this memory pop up when you were saying, like, your biggest thing is connection with other women. So I remember the first time we met. Do you remember the first time we met? Okay, so I lived in San Francisco at the time, and we were both on, it was like Good Morning La La Land, was it?
Yes.
Like that? And I flew in for it, and we met. And I remember you, like, drove me from the interview back to my hotel, and so we kind of just lightly connected. But then I moved to LA. It was like a year or two afterwards, and I didn't really know many women at all. I, like, lightly had some Instagram friends, and I don't exactly remember how it happened, but I'm pretty sure you reached out to me and you said, I'm going to help you make friends. I'm going to put together a dinner. And you organized a dinner at Elefante, and you invited me along. And I met so many women who I still class as, like, it's making me emotional, like some of my closest friends. And that was
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Just as you were saying that, I had this vivid memory come in my mind, and, like, yeah, that was and you didn't really know me. And you were like, I'm going to help you make friends in this city that can be quite scary. And you just invited me along to this dinner and invited so many women that I like had seen online, and like I was so excited to be there, and I just connected with people, and like you set it up so that everyone was going around kind of speaking about themselves a little bit, and I just had this full circle moment of like, yeah, that, and I've always felt that from you from the beginning, like how much of a girl's girl you are. And I just love a girl's girl.
Same. I'm the same way. And it's kind of like, if we have this great thing and we, you have an incredible community, I'm just really, really thrilled about the different skill sets and pieces of the puzzle that are coming together with having you come in. And I just feel like that is such a bonus for this company, is you do have very opposite skill sets of me, which really excites me. I think sometimes in partnerships, like in the beginning, I used to look for people like who were exactly like me, and you don't realize like that's actually doesn't do that great, because then there's just two of you who want to do the same damn thing all the time. So some of the things that we had chatted about, you're excited about. I'd love to hear some of the things you're excited about with the company.
I love brand so much, and I deeply adore product development. I love ingredients, formulation. I love seeing what's out there and thinking, how can we do it better? Or how can we take something that women are spending so much money on by taking multiple different things and combining it into a formulation that makes it easier to stick to, is cheaper, has better efficacy. Like I'm like deeply excited. Like that's why I got into business in the first place. I wanted to be able to make products. I wanted to, and I love that inside Boss Babe too. I love putting products together that are going to impact women's lives. So I'm deeply, deeply excited about that. I think the brand you have put together is amazing, and I just feel so lucky to step into it. And like we had such an amazing photo shoot today, and just to be able to partake in the creative direction of that, I love all of that stuff. It lights me up. And I love having a sparring partner that's so freaking good at marketing, and like all of that, it gives me a chance to sit in a different seat too, which I'm really excited about. What about you?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so excited that you're excited about just formulation and ingredients. I'm really I love doing that, but you go way deeper than I do, which I love. It's just kind of like I can ask you about an ingredient and you're like, oh, that's for this, or it does this, or it does this, or this is the new one that everybody's using for this. And I'm like, oh girl, you're in it like way deeper than me.
We were talking about salmon jizz this morning, everyone.
They're like, did you say sandwiches? No, she said salmon jizz. Injecting into your face. Yes. So you never know. Future product, we'll see. I don't know. I'm also excited about how linear you are and how systematic. You are like all systems as well, which I think that's going to be so powerful for this company, because I am very much like a creative visionary. I want to be out in the world bringing like those partnerships in. I want to be collaborating with people. I want to be like bringing the eyeballs in. I want to be on podcasts. I want to be speaking on stages about it. So we just have so many different, I'm also very excited about all the things you said, but it's kind of like, I feel like that'll be fun to not only partake on, but I feel like it's kind of like how Chris and I have this thing where if we're even fighting or like deciding what we want to do for the weekend, it's like if one person is a little, like you can tell that person is like way more passionate about it, we go, okay, you win this one, I can tell. Yeah. Like, okay, formulation, you win this one, I can tell, because you just are like you're not gonna put this to bed. You're like never gonna quit on this.
I'm gonna be the fighting for all the ingredients and like challenging our formulators. I know we can find it this way. Let's do it this way.
And you know what? They do. They like always do.
There's
because
always a
we
way.
were told no multiple times, like you can't do this, it's gonna cake, you're gonna have zero shelf life, you're gonna hate this, and I'm like, I'm still loving it. It's still so good. Speaking of other ingredients too, we also have magnesium. So we have a marine magnesium, and it is like a really bioavailable magnesium, which I love knowing about it. And magnesium is such an important ingredient for you to be consuming. It is like muscle function, nerve function. It does so many different things, let alone, we know that it's related to sleep and calm and all of those things. And going to the bathroom regularly also is amazing with magnesium. And we have zinc, which we don't have too much zinc in there, because if you go extreme on zinc, some people can have like a bothered stomach by it. So we have a really low dose of zinc. It can also actually irritate the skin if you have way too much. So we went really low on it, because at a certain amount it helps the skin a ton. So we put zinc in there because it is such a big skin ingredient and it is so good for immunity as well, which is awesome, which is why so many people travel with it and take it all the time. And then we do vitamin C. So vitamin C is like one of the most known ingredients in skincare, and vitamin C topically is good, which is why it's so popular. But ingesting vitamin C, so your body cannot make its own collagen without vitamin C. And so because our bodies do not make vitamin C, we actually have to supplement vitamin C in order for collagen synthesis in your body to happen, which is crazy because some people are not getting it. Like if you're not taking a vitamin, or as you say, a vitamin, if you're not taking a vitamin, you are literally, if you're not taking vitamin C, your body's probably really struggling. And maybe you're getting it through some of the things that you're eating, but specifically making sure that you have like the daily allowance of vitamin C.
And that's why I think this kind of education is really important, because a lot of people, if they're formulating something for skin, will often put collagen in. But like you say, sometimes it's about stepping back a little bit. Okay, you can put collagen in, but what if you could support your body in making its own collagen? That's a lot more powerful, plus all of the other benefits.
Yep.
How long do you think until I start saying vitamin?
Vitamin. Hey, you got vitamin C.
Vitamin C.
You sound like Lori. It's coming soon.
I love it. I am so excited to be doing this with you. You have created a truly phenomenal product that I'm obsessed with. I was obsessed with before I even got involved. So I just feel like I'm on cloud nine that I get to like link arms with you and see what we can do with this business. Like it's so exciting, and I'm so grateful that we get to also share this with our amazing community of entrepreneurial women to share along the journey. Like, let's just be very real about what's working for us, what's not. Like, getting a chance to build something from scratch, it's amazing for us, but I'm also secretly, or not so secretly, so excited to be able to share it with other women, of saying like, this is what's really working right now, or this moved the needle.
This was like, this company, I have chills again. Like it's so twofold. It's we want this for women to be like such an important part of their ritual, and to like take that time for themselves and get the results that make them feel good, because you have to support the vehicle that is doing the business, and that's you. Like at the end of the day, if you are not, and I know you're so passionate about this, if you are not taking care of you, your business can only go to the extent that you can. And so if you're not growing, and if your health is not getting better, like your business can't get better. Like you actually have to get your health better if your dreams are getting bigger. I remember in the middle of building the alcohol company, I was not taking very good care of myself, because I got really low. I got really depressed about like just this company was in front of me, was my margins were disappearing because of the pandemic and so many other things. And I got this like verbal download. I don't know how you hear things, but for me, it's like a voice. I don't know what voice it is. It might be me. It might be God. It might be whatever. And it was like, you need to upgrade the operating system. Like you need to take care of yourself. Yes. I don't know why the voice said upgrade the operating system, like I'm some robot or something, but it truly was like, if you want to go to the next level, you got to dial in your health again. Like you've lost yourself a little bit. And when I started to dial my health in, guess what started to, this idea came. Literally, it was like, we all get lost along the way and we all forget. And sometimes we just need like these basic like staples that remind you, oh yeah, that's right, I'm worth it. Oh yeah, this thing makes me feel good. Oh, this is a good place to start. And so it's that one simple thing you can do every day. But the other part of this is that, how am I ever supposed to, like, we're both women who breathe life into women. Like our purpose on the planet is to give women a path and to give them hope, and to like just expand whatever dream they have, like to think bigger. I know that's why I'm here. I know that's why you're here. How can I get them to think outside of the box and to think bigger if I'm not willing to put myself in that situation? And I knew that if I wanted to like blow the lid off of what women think is possible, that I have to do it for myself. And so it was the scariest leap I've ever taken in my entire life. But if I don't do it, who's going to do it? And how do we bring this back to the community? And that's why I'm so excited about you coming in too, is that I know that all of these lessons are not going to go to waste, no matter what. Like everything that we learn is going to be, we already have plans of like, how do we, integrate this into our ambassador program? How do we teach them about sales? How do we teach them about what this looks on the inside? How do we show them that this is like possible, whatever they're thinking is possible? So that's why I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're going to bring everyone along on this journey. I'm so excited. Well, cheers to gloci.
Cheers to gloci.
Wait to see where this goes.
I know. Just wait.